Good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. It is Kate here, and welcome back to the Brooks Legacy. We are with Generation 3, back in Sulani with Marin. This is going to be a slightly late episode. I'm recording it as it should be up, but yesterday was very eventful, and yeah, Grandma had low blood pressure problems, so that kind of took up my time before the stream, so it's okay. We're here now, so I hope you guys enjoy this, and let's get into it. The kittens were growing by leaps and bounds. Marin was enjoying teaching them how to play with the cat teaser. And for a fox meant to be in a forest or Arctic environment, Oak was really enjoying swimming in the warm ocean waters every day. As for Marin, she's doing great. Atoni has made her come to life in so many ways. Atoni makes Marin see the world differently, prompts her to reflect on herself without judging her ever, and largely thanks to him, she feels like she's grown up into something bigger than she could have been on her own. Atoni takes Marin on so many little adventures. She's not even afraid of going to the mainland anymore. If somebody recognizes her, then they do. She's realized one thing. Somewhere in between all the sand getting in her clothes and the kisses stolen under the moon, she can't be afraid anymore of the past or the present or the future. The man right in front of her changed that. Somehow, somewhere, Marin stopped being angry. She stopped feeling like she didn't belong. She stopped being ashamed and stopped having all of the negative feelings. Sulani changed that. Atoni made her strange puzzle piece fit. Right there with him. Somewhere along this journey, a spark lit to life in Marin's being. Something that grew when she began to see the spirits on the beach, and her newfound family's tails shimmering under the water. Noea and Kaleo made her feel welcome and loved. They knew Marin's secret now, just as she knew theirs. They knew what Marin had done, but they did not judge her for it, only loved her, mistakes and all. She was their daughter-in-law, in their eyes now, regardless of marriage titles and formal ceremonies. She finally felt like she belonged somewhere. In these strange islands that whispered her name all this time, the winds teasing her to come to a home she didn't know she had. It was almost absurd, like something out of one of her mom's fantasy books. And, speaking of her mom, don't get Marin wrong, she still feels bad. Marin's not miraculously healed or absolved of her guilt and sins. Marin still feels that burden every single day. It's gotten easier to live with. Maybe it's because she feels ready to see her family again. Maybe it's because Marin's become her own person, an identity separate from the ever so large Brooks legacy. Or maybe she's been touched by some of that Sulani magic, as Atoni puts it. Whatever it is, it has certainly put a lot of things into perspective for Marin. Some of that perspective is obvious, and some of it not so obvious. Obviously, she needs to live in the moment and enjoy what she has, taking in the simple pleasures, like the waterfall in her front yard, and the adorable kittens that pounce playfully at her feet. Obviously, Marin also needs to enjoy being in love, but also, not so obviously, Marin needs to learn to be a better partner and a team player. Life has always been just a little bit about her in her own mind. Marin struggles with being selfish upon inter-reflection. She doesn't want to be that way anymore. She doesn't want to hurt a Tony like she hurt her family. But, somehow, Marin doesn't feel like she can. It doesn't really make sense, but neither did Mermaid Tales or the other bits and pieces of true magic that Tony and his family could do. And she now could see all of it. But what she felt with Tony was nothing short of magical. She didn't want to hurt him, but their bond also felt like she couldn't. That in itself was a miracle, wasn't it? And for those wondering about Star, don't worry. Our beach stray has settled down into quite a cozy life. In fact, Oak and Star take turns on who's watching over Marin during the night and day. Truth be told, while Star does like a Tony, she prefers it when Mr. Fish isn't spending the night, because then she gets that side of the bed all to herself, with no bumps or jumps or giggles to impede her space. As for the kittens, they get free roam of the downstairs and the entire beach. That's pretty great, right? But back to Marin and Tony, they are truly so adorable. Tony showers Marin with affection, and both give each other thoughtful gifts every single chance they get. And this night's adventure was to the Romance Festival in San Myshuno. Hey Mar, have you ever seen the pink petal flowers in the city? No. Pink petal flowers? Oh, let's go then. You have got to see them, babe. Hmm. Seeing them may not be exactly what these two did, but it was all a blur for Marin after they drank the sweet Sakura tea. Something about the vibe of this romance festival indeed did something romantic to both of their systems, sending Marin and Tony into frisky mode. Hey Marin, have you ever had fun in a hot tub? Marin blushed, laughing to cover the red cheeks up. Sure. Fun? Yeah, obvious. Wait, that? But Tony, how are we gonna breathe? I'm a mermaid, Mar. Trust me, love. Nothing but pleasure here. Remember? So Marin took the hot plunge, literally and figuratively. Woohoo in a hot tub? Underwater pretty much the entire time? Wow. Marin had not expected that. But between the magic of their bodies and Tony's mer magic allowing her to breathe, that was an incredible experience, she had to admit. And the next morning, Marin once again reflected on how lucky she was to be surrounded by so much love and beauty. Do you remember when Marin first found Oak on the beach, and she was struggling to take care of him, let alone herself? Marin had been so afraid of not being able to be enough. She had tried so hard to find Oak a fox sanctuary or some form of a good home. She remembers that time well, and it wasn't so long ago either. Well, look at them now. Not only was Marin thriving, but so was Oak. Gone were the times she was afraid of being able to afford him food or toys or even a safe place to sleep. She was not only capable of taking care of him, but also a cat and two whole kittens. How's them apples? And somewhere in all of this reflecting and these realizations, Marin knew it was time for the next step. Look how far she'd come. Marin felt like she had things to show for it. She's grown. She's in a good, healthy, stable relationship. She has friends and a family in Sulani. She's engaged, for goodness sake, and making a decent living. She's got a beach shack, and she's connected to the grid again. Mostly, anyway. It was time to finish that email to her brother. The only problem was that the words hadn't hit her yet. It was the same problem Marin had had this entire time. What was she supposed to say? Obviously sorry, but that was such a small word for how enormous she felt. Marin didn't have her mom's talent with words, or her uncle's talent with paint. She wasn't good at coding like her dad, or funny like her aunt. She wasn't smart like Panda or Oscar. And she didn't have things together like Kaysen did, nor was she good at cooking. Marin wasn't good at anything. She didn't have a special talent. All her life, she felt like a massive screw-up because of that, and it was part of why she'd run away like she had. Now, she needed to suck it up and send the stupid email. But she didn't know how. But Marin had given herself a deadline. She had until tomorrow morning. She figured the words would come up at some point during the day, like during her chores, or the run with Oak, or one of her swims. They hadn't. Panic clawed at her stomach. Ugly feelings stirred in her heart, gripping her throat with a steady, nauseating grasp. But she had a beach date with Tony that night, and just that thought kept her steady. And it was under the stars and the comforting rays of the moon that she found her voice. Hey, Tony, I need some help. She hated to admit it, but not as much as she had before. What can I do? Tony was her strength, always. She felt so dang lucky. So she drug her gaze from her toes to his searching eyes and determined smile. That email to my brother, the one I've been working on? Tony's eyes softened. The one you can't finish. She nodded. Yeah. I am going to send it tomorrow. But I haven't been able to write more than a single word. I don't know what to say. He hummed the same soothing tune he always did when his sister was ranting or venting. And where it always calmed Nalani down, it did the same magic to Marin's turmoil. Well, when you don't know what to say, you just say everything. Let it all out, like a journal. I'm sure Panda will understand. Better to say too much than barely anything at all, you know? Just open the dam up, baby. You can always edit it afterwards. She thought on what Tony said, and when the morning sun came up, Marin found herself at the computer, messaging Nalani before the teen went to school for the day. The open email tab was right there, and her deadline was nearly up. A journal, huh? She mused, thinking on Tony's words. She'd never opened up like this to anybody, especially her family. Maybe it was time. Her brother had a right to know, more than most. She'd hurt her mom, yeah, and her mom had hurt her, but her baby brother hadn't done anything. He was the only one who made her feel like she'd belonged. She'd never felt intimidated by him, or pressured, or even jealous. Even Kaysen. By the Watcher. She could admit it. She had felt so intimidated and jealous. Yeah, he was her cousin and her best friend once upon a time, but Kason had everything. He was good looking, he was smart, he didn't struggle with friends or bullies or homework or learning. He hadn't struggled with the weight of the family legacy. He had a great relationship with his parents. He didn't have the pressure of being the next heir. He had known what he wanted out of life from a young age, and she was looking forward to attending his opening debut as a chef at his own restaurant. In Marin's eyes, Kason had it all, and Marin in turn felt like an utter mess, crumbling under the weight of the mountain. Suddenly, the words began to fly across the screen, her thundering fingers hitting the keys with a frenzy. Every negative feeling, every hidden thought, it all came out. She finally knew what to say. Or rather, her body did what her mind struggled to do. And when the message was over, Marin didn't read over it. She didn't edit a single word. Rather, she felt lighter and able to think clearly in a way she hadn't quite before. Marin typed one final paragraph. I know this is coming out of nowhere. I know I should have messaged so much sooner, Panda. I was scared. I was surviving, and in that survival, I shoved everything down. I've never really let myself think of this stuff. And you can think it's a cop-out all you want. I get it. I kind of think that too. I didn't let myself think of all of this or feel any of this until it consumed me. And it's nobody's fault but mine for being so stupid and letting this get to that point. Looking back, there's so many different ways I could have handled things or done things differently. But being out here has changed me in a lot of ways. And all of this is something I have to deal with. You may never want to talk to me again, and if you don't, I will understand. You can share this with anybody, even Mom, if you want. It's way over time for me to share and let y'all know I'm okay anyway. It feels like it's been an eternity, you know? Again, I am so, so, so sorry. I can't say sorry enough, Panda. I hope you are doing okay and everybody else is too. I hope you respond and tell me all about your adventures and how the family is. I really do miss you guys. But I also know I don't deserve that kindness. I am really sorry, Panda. If you want to reach me, here's my new cell number, or you can message me here. I will answer. I pinky promise. Marin finished typing and hit send, feeling £1,000,000 lighter, and also nauseous. But it was sent. She had done it. Now, everything was in Panda's court. Well, this ended up being a way longer episode than I anticipated, but I think it is well deserved, and it definitely was time, wasn't it? Marin finally did it. She sent the email that she's been struggling with for ages. Now, keep in mind, I just want everybody to know this, because again, my storytelling is not the best. But Marin doesn't blame anybody for her feelings. Like, I think she did when she was a teenager. When she was a kid, she was so angry and frustrated, and it was all about me a little bit, but what kid and teenager isn't selfish? I mean, let's be honest here. We're all the main characters of our own story, right? But she doesn't blame anybody now. She recognizes the feelings, recognizes it's something she needs to figure out how to get past and deal with in a healthy way. And she's never been to therapy. Probably should go to therapy. Probably everybody should go to therapy. um, but realizing all of this, it is new for her, but she is in a place where she can deal with those feelings and heal unintentionally. Like that's not quite the right word, but when you bottle up so much, it affects you. And Sulani is the place where Marin can grow and she can thrive and she can become somebody without fear or turmoil or really those feelings following her. Because when you're surrounded by success, but you feel like you don't have any of your own, or you feel like you're not capable of it, or everybody's expecting things of you, and they were expecting things of her. I mean, she's the oldest. I mean, she and Kaysen, they are the oldest, each of them. But, and Marin isn't aware of this now, but it is an interesting parallel. Kaysen did struggle with a lot of the things that Marin struggled with as the oldest. But where Marin struggled from an early age, Kaysen was doing great. Up until about midway through being a teenager. He started falling backwards, and a lot of that came from Zyala and just the shift in the family dynamic, and then Marin's running away did not help. Um, and now he's basically at a point where he just doesn't think about her anymore. He tries not to think about her. He thinks that she's selfish. He thinks a lot of really not good things. Of course, he's now becoming selfish in his own right, and he's doing things and hurting people around him unintentionally, but he's still there. Does that make sense? Like, if you were to sit back and think about it, but he doesn't. Marin, she's had no choice but to think about it ever since she's really started to be able to stand on her 2 feet out here in Sulani. And now that she's doing good, it's all she can think about. She's grown. Um, and she's changed, and she's got a lot to make up for and a lot of things to explain and to do. But I don't think if she'd have stayed in Del Sol with her mom and gone to be part of whatever her mom wanted her to be a part of, she'd have been able to have the same journey. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Y'all might see it differently. In fact, I'm kind of curious what y'all's thoughts are. But yeah, like there's different pressures and different things going on, and if there's one thing that Andy and Hope are not good at, which there's quite a few things to be honest, but it's communicating. Andy is not good at communicating at all, and neither is Hope. I mean, heck, Hope has had the biggest damn secret, like, for Marin's entire life. um, and then, like, Andy, he doesn't communicate his feelings, and Hope, she just deals with it. um, so Kaysen and Marin, they, all of Generation 3 really, like, they never really exactly had a good emotionally available, like, parent style. Does that make sense? I don't know. So it's nobody's fault. It just happens. And then it's all about how people react, respond to it. Marin ran away. Kaysen got hooked on drugs. Um, and Oscar and Blaze, they're doing pretty okay, all things considered. I'd like to think they were really shielded by their older siblings. They don't have the same pressures. They don't have the same reactions and things. And they also let's be honest here, the oldest children tend to be the guinea pigs of the parents, and then by the time the second one comes around, it's like easier in a lot of ways. At least that's kind of my viewpoint of it. Again, I'm an only child. Um, and then with Xyala, she's got something completely different going on, obviously, so that's not a fair comparison. But yeah, all of this saying, Marin is not blaming anybody other than herself. She is very harsh on herself, and she also needs to learn to forgive herself. She's not there yet. But recognizing the feelings that she has is a good first step, and she sent the email. So, yeah. Now, tomorrow, I won't make you guys wait too long. Tomorrow, we are going to be with Blaze, and then next week, we are going to deviate from the Brooks and start with some other stuff, I think. So that'll be exciting. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Sorry it's late, because I just finished it and it's 11:30 on the day that it's supposed to be out at 9. But hey, y'all get almost a 30-minute Brooks video. That's pretty dang unheard of. And me monologuing for 7 minutes. I'm sorry, I felt like I needed to explain. But yeah, so I'm so proud of my baby. But yeah, thank y'all so very much for watching. I hope y'all are enjoying this series and this video. I hope things make sense. Let me know what you think if we want to. And yeah, we will be with Blaze tomorrow. So I hope you guys have a fantastic Tuesday. Did I say happy Monday at the beginning of the episode? I can't tell what day of the week it is anymore. And yeah, so I appreciate you guys. And don't forget, where the waters flow, legacies grow.